When you're preparing for a fight, are you jumping to different gyms, or are you just in Power Fitness?
Yeah, I'm jumping to different gym constantly. In Power Fitness right now, we just have beginners, and so I know enough to coach them, and I'm constantly learning. I train at the pit a little bit, and because my schedule at Empower Fitness kind of conflicts with pretty much every gym, I'm going to different gyms constantly. And that's really kind of the way that I prefer it, to go to a bunch of different places, learn from a bunch of different people, and improve overall with everybody. Like, I have not found a coach that understands me and understands the game and and has like the appropriate bodies and people for me to work with constantly. I haven't found that at one specific gym, so I go to all these different places to train.
Yeah. You've been doing this for about 4 or 5 years now?
Yeah. Yep.
About 4 or 5 years. What's your thoughts on Utah MMA?
I think we're really good. I think we beat all of our surrounding states. We just have trouble when it's like guys from Nevada, where they have all those high-level UFC fighters and stuff like that, and all those high-level gyms that everybody's training with. And then California, where it's kind of the same. It kind of goes by like population density, where you have higher population, you have better people. Utah, Salt Lake has kind of better population than Idaho, Wyoming, New Mexico, and whatever. And then Colorado, they have some decent gyms out there, but I think every time they've brought somebody from Colorado, we've beaten them. So, yeah, no, Utah MMA, I'm really surprised with it. They're really good. But that kind of goes to like my philosophy as a fighter. I don't think there's very many people from Utah that are going to be UFC bound. There are a lot of really talented and really good fighters, and there are a couple guys who have potential to make it UFC bound. But I think if you're starting MMA at 22 years old, you're maybe 22 years too late. Like the way that they're breeding those guys out in Dagestan or Brazil or whatever like that, like they're insane. And that's not to say that no one can do it, because there are MMA fighters like Rob Font, who's kind of becoming a household name in the more casual people in the UFC. They would at least kind of know Rob Font, for example. And I think even Sean O'Malley started pretty late at like 17, 18 years old. So there are people who can be outliers like that, but the chances of it happening are pretty low. And so, lost my train of thought there. Hold on one second.
Thoughts on Utah MMA?
Yeah. Sorry. Okay, yeah. So, starting really late, or man, I can't remember where I was going to go with this, but a lot of coaches have issues with you cross training and stuff, and working with all these different coaches. And I think that your goal should be to try and be the best martial artist that you can be, not to try and be the UFC world champion, because the chances of that happening are really low. And so that's kind of what I think a lot of coaches are starting to maybe realize that, or I wish more coaches would realize that in Utah, that there's a lot of psychology and stuff, and a lot of people that are in Utah MMA and jiu-jitsu, for example, also are recovering addicts and people who deal with depression and stuff like that. And so I just wish that more people would use MMA and stuff as a tool to help people with their mental state and mental health and stuff like that, than is popular, instead of trying to build everybody to be a world champion and disregarding the ones that aren't ever going to be good, I guess. So,
and using it more as a tool.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on Utah fight promotions?
I think they're both really good. I fight for Still Fist a lot, and it's mostly kind of like how I was saying, I finish a fight and I'm going up to the promoter right after, being like, all right, what's next? Like, already getting something lined up before I have a chance to like sit back and think and plan ahead for my future. So I mostly fight for Still Fist. I really like their venue too, especially compared to Fierce's venues, because the energy at Still Fist is like drunk people yelling and stuff like that. Like, it's just a lot more intense, versus at Fierce, the energy levels are a little bit lower comparatively. But the skill level for Fierce, I feel like a lot of their guys, they'll bring out the out-of-state guys or whatever, where you're fighting really high-level guys. And so I like that Fierce has that. Like you have the higher energy crowds or the higher level fights and stuff like that. So I think they both have their own thing, and I'm glad that they're starting to make reparations in their relationships with each other. So I'm good friends with Zach Partridge and Pat Patton and stuff like that. So
that's dope, man. Yeah. I hope we can get to a point where it's even if it's just an undisputed AMI, because I know Stillfist is only amateur, right?
They do have some pros.
They have some pros. Yeah. Okay. Well, it'd be cool if we had an undisputed title.
Yeah, no, right? That was sweet. Yeah, you kind of got to fight for both. Like Ammon Garcia, for example, who fought Talon Carvalho on February 10th. Mm-hmm. Ammon's the 55 champ for both organizations, so now he's the undisputed unified champ. Yeah,
I didn't realize they didn't mention that at Fierce, huh? When he fought Talon, because his last fight was with Talon at the Maverick Center.
Yeah, I don't think they. Yeah, I don't think they did. I think they were just talking about him being their champion or whatever. Yeah. But
I didn't realize that. That's cool.
Yeah,
that's something that needs to be talked about.
Yeah, no, it does for sure.
What you said, featherweight?
No, he's a lightweight.
Lightweight?
Yeah, 55. Yeah.
Okay. Man, that's really cool. What was his name again?
Ammon Garcia.
Ammon Garcia.
Yeah.
You know what gym he fights out of?
He's at One Hit, so he trains with Zach Partridge. Zach. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that Talon guy too from the pit. He's from the pit, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I really like Talon. He even his last fight, like that was a great fight he fought. It's just, it's the beauty in the game, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Somebody has to have their hand raised.
Yep. Talon's insanely talented and athletic and smart, dude. He's awesome. I love training with him. He's a cool guy. So it was rough to see him lose, but it's good for him to get the experience. Like you learn a lot mentally from losing. You overcome your mental anguish and stuff like that, and then just kind of getting your body used to going through like, oh man, what happens if I go out there and get knocked out? And then you have the adrenaline dumps and stuff, and then you go out there and get choked out, and then you're like, oh wait, that wasn't that bad.